Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Final Whistle, or should I say, Dead Final Whistle, where we talk about dead Alabama football and talk about DeBoer's Era. You get it? Get it, guys? But listen, I got the Avengers. We're not going to be the All-Star panel. We're going to be called the Avengers. I'm Macadale. I just got finished looking up rib recipes, and, I got my co-host, not even co-hosts, all the Avengers are co-hosts. One of the hosts, Chris James, Dan's aka Big Brother. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm good, man. Just getting off this the Bama Standard, man, with the former players, man. And if y'all missed that, you have to go back and watch that, man. That was awesome.
Yeah,
those stories about Coach Sabin, man. That was awesome, man. Why y'all in it? Hit that like and subscribe button.
Yeah, hit that like and subscribe button. Like Chris said, we are on the Bama Standard. Shouts out to Workspace Solutions. You know how they do it here. The Bama Standard is how we do it. And speaking of the standard, the guy who brings our moral standard, Reverend Dan James. How are you?
There's only one Reverend Dan James. You know what I'm saying?
That's my daddy.
I heard that.
Yeah, that's the final whistle, Dan. Follow me on X. We'll get to that later. But man, am I rejuvenated? It's an exciting time to be a Bama fan. We got an opportunity to tread new grounds. We don't have to worry about teams copycatting us just yet. You know what I'm saying? We get to be Bama. We're still Bama. At the end of the day, we are still Bama. We're not going anywhere. And Coach Kalen DeBoer gonna prove that.
We don't give a piss about none but the Tide.
There you go.
Speaking about
piss about nothing but the Tide. Blitz, Bama, blitz.
Speaking about not giving a piss, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Lucian. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. I am very hopeful to see what the future of the Crimson brings this year. I'm happy. We got a lot of young talent. A lot of them are bought in, and a lot of them are mean. And we love mean on the Avengers, don't we, fellas? That's what we do.
I do. I love it. I love it. Speaking of Avengers, ladies and gentlemen, the guy who avenges all week through his OnlyFans, Mr. Ty Haynes, Around the Table Sports OnlyFans Emmy Award winner this year. How are you doing today, sir?
It was a good year on OnlyFans. It was a phenomenal year on OnlyFans. I can't lie. Guys, if we're the Avengers, can I pick which Avenger I am? Because after this week, I want to be someone specifically, right?
Tony Stark.
I want to be – I wish. A week ago, I would have told you Tony Stark. But after the week we've had, I want to be Captain America, but not prime Captain America. You know the one where he's old as hell in the park?
Oh, yeah.
That's me. That's me after this week. I have nothing left in me, but I really am excited for this new era, guys. Excited to talk about it.
Well, shifting from Captain America to Thor of T-Town, Daniel Patty, how are you, sir?
How'd you know I was going to pick Thor? I'm dead serious. I wrote Thor down. And mainly because ever since my wife saw Thor or Chris Hemsworth in that movie, I'm pretty sure that's who she thinks of when she closes her eyes. So,
you got like a blonde wig and role play.
Hey, tell her to go to Innisfree and throw back about 4 of them.
I think that's how I tricked her the first time. Man, excited to be here. Look, still getting over the hangover of the Sabin retirement, man. The goat going away, go away that quick, man. I've watched everything I can on that comes up on or the SEC Network show or whatever. But man, I'm excited about this new era in DeBoer. I'm excited about the hires he's making. I know we're going to jump into that, but man, I know there's a lot of names that Bama fans might not be too familiar with that are coming aboard, but I think after we talk some excitement into you, you're going to be excited about what's to come.
I agree, guys. That's the Avengers. And as always, hit that like, subscribe button. As Chris mentioned, we are on the Bama Standard, which is the standard. And we got to give a shout out, as always, to our sponsor, Workspace Solutions, Workspace Pros. Mr. Petty, you want to give your little, your extra sauce it up about the advertiser, our sponsor?
Yeah, man. I'm Daniel Petty. I'm with Workspace Solution. It's workspacepros.com. Check us out. Maybe not during the show, but definitely check us out after. You know, we're proud to be sponsors of the Bama Standard Network. It's the best around. It is the Bama Standard, but at Workspace Solutions, we also like to set our own standard. We're there. We're your digital online presence. We can help your business grow through online marketing, SEO, web design, content writing, whatever you need to help your business grow. The guys at workspacepros.com are your guys. And that's me, man. If you like what you see, come talk to us, man. We're fun outside of this as well, and we can help your business grow.
I love it. I love it. Speaking of keeping the standard, guys, we lost the GOAT, Coach Sabin, but we had a quick turnaround with Kalen DeBoer. I mean, we're going to get immediate reaction, but this guy's had one heck of a week. He was just in the national championship game on Monday. By the end of the week, he was in Tuscaloosa. So, you know, I'm excited about it, the hire, but I'm going to let, the rest of the crew kind of go in it, their detail. I'm going to start with Mr. College Football, constant college football, Mr. Ty Haynes. Just give me your initial thoughts, what you were hearing about him, where he was at Washington, and what makes him such an exceptional hire to follow Coach Sabin here at Alabama, keep his standard moving.
He's a winner. I mean, you look everywhere he's gone, he's won. He inherited a program that was 4-8 when he took it over, with an offense that ranked number 108 in the nation in scoring offense. 108th in the nation in scoring offense. 1 year later, he took that 4-8 program and they went 11-2, and they were a top 15 scoring offense. 1 year later, he took that program that was 4-8 a year prior and went 14-1 in the national championship with, once again, a top 15 offense. The guy is 104-12 overall. He is a flat out winner. And the one thing I like, guys, is whenever he was doing his question and answering, he had a certain question asked to him, and it was the way he answered that really allowed me to buy in. And it was when he was talking about what he knows as compared to what he doesn't know. Because if you acknowledge what you don't know, that's what you can work on. And when he was asked, he was talking about, I'm going to bring some of my Washington staff with me, but I know I need SEC. I'm not from the area. I know how important it is down here to have those ties. I'm going to learn, but I need SEC on my staff. He knew what he didn't know, and he knew I have to address it. That to me was a massive sign, right? That to me was a really positive sign. I think offensively, when you look at the coaches, you have to be overjoyed, whether that's Grubb, who Saban wanted a year ago, JaMarcus Shephard, who Saban had interviewed prior to retiring. You look at what they've done, fantastic. And then you're able to retain a Freddie Roach, which is massive. You're able to retain a Robert Gillespie. That's massive. Freddie Roach is one of the best recruiters in the nation. You look at the defensive coordinator hire, and guys, this was one that I'm not too privy on him. I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't gotten to sit down and watch a ton of his stuff yet. I just downloaded some of the Indiana defense, but he was a Broyles Award finalist at Indiana. And I even went back to when he was at Eastern Illinois, and he inherited a terrible defense there. But in 2015, his defense ranked second nationally in interceptions, third in takeaways, fourth in pass efficiency defense, eighth in red zone defense, and 10th in tackles for loss. His dad was the Ole Miss defensive coordinator from 2012 to 2016, and that doesn't inherently mean he's going to work out, but what it does mean is SEC schools, SEC territory is familiar with his last name. They know who he is. That's a win for Alabama. And then you talk about the news of who they just hired, Mo Linguist. And I mean, I'm in DFW area right now. He's from this area. He knows this area. He recruited this area very well for Texas A&M. Guys, replacing the GOAT is an impossible task. But if you look and ask yourself, where does Kalen DeBoer rank amongst his peers? The results speak for themselves. He was just in the national championship. He's 7-0 against Steve Sarkisian, Dan Lanning, and Lincoln Riley. What more could you ask for?
I love it. I love it.
Bringing that heat, Ty.
I love it. Speaking of heat, one thing about DeBoer is that in Alabama is still the only school to have two coaches in the college football playoff in the same year. So I think that's a little hidden little gem right there. I'm going to go to LaShawn next. Then we'll go Chris, Petty, then Dan. Give us your thoughts, LaShawn.
I mean, my initial thoughts on the hire were, I mean, it was the top choice that we had to go with. I mean, the guy has been successful on every level, as Ty alluded to. He's a proven winner, and he doesn't back down from a challenge. One of the most important things when you have a transition of power is you have to be able to step into the limelight without wanting to be said limelight. And in doing that, you have to be able to have power and control, but not want to be the guy that you're replacing at the same time. You don't want to be the same aspirations. You don't want to do the same things he does, but at the same time, you want to keep up the standard. And that's the one thing that he kind of kept saying that kept echoing to me. He wants to keep up this standard. He doesn't want it to go away, and he wants to be the best. And it just kind of made me feel a little bit better about this whole, devastating week that we all just had. And him especially bringing all of his offensive guys because, I mean, that's what's probably been lacking on our team, honestly, in some areas, offensive line, receiver group development. And he brings those guys. I mean, let's face it, the proof's in the pudding. Like the wide receiver coach had like 2 guys that eclipsed the 1,000-yard marks. 4 guys had more than 45 receptions. Like, that's impressive, especially, playing top Power 5 football. And then the defensive coordinator, he brings a new style defense. I'm interested to see what it's going to look like with all of our athletic talent we have. I actually think it'll actually give our players a little bit more of leeway on giving them abilities to play and actually make plays. I'm interested to see what happens with the secondary. Because really, right now, I mean, the outside linebackers, we don't really know a lot right now. So, or what's going on with the inside linebackers. But as of right now, the only thing I'm really, really looking forward to see the development is with all these guys in the secondary. Because, I mean, we're bringing in 7 prize top talent. And these guys have to be developed because, I mean, let's face it, they're the future of Bama, guys.
I agree. Speaking of top talent, shouts out to Ephraim Davis with the $5 super chat. He says, this transition is exhausting and exciting, laugh out loud. And I want to say something about this. I know I mentioned earlier how DeBoer was in the national championship. It's so funny. Michigan won a national championship, but you wouldn't even know because the story has been all about Alabama the past 2 weeks. We're from Sabin retirement to DeBoer to everything. So, listen, it's all about Alabama. And Alabama's still the standard regardless of what they say up in Ann Arbor. Chris, let me get your thoughts about Kalen DeBoer and the era beginning.
Well, first off, kudos to him for even stepping in the shoes of the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? So anybody that takes on this challenge to replace Nick Saban, that says a lot about them just being willing, you know what I'm saying, to take on this challenge. The staff he brought, like the offensive staff, that was a home run. I really believe it was a massive upgrade to be able to keep Gillespie, who was probably your best recruiter on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, Holman Wiggins was a great recruiter too, but Gillespie, it was one I was reading on one prospect. I can't remember. I think he was a kid out of California. Said that if they retain Robert Gillespie, Alabama would still be high on my list. Will be right there because of Coach Gillespie. So that was something that's really big. He's a great coach, a good recruiter, great recruiter. But the offensive line, man, did we upgrade or not? The offensive line or offensive coordinator, we upgraded. I felt like we upgraded as a receiver coach, our receiver coach. Tight end remains to be seen, but looking at how their tight ends played, it seems like it was an upgrade there too. So on the offensive side of the ball, you have to give that an A++ for what we have on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, retaining Freddie Roach and his recruiting ties, that was huge. The D-line played well this year, played better, much better than they played in the last few years. So there's progress. So it wasn't stagnant; it was progress. And even though Jaheim Otis was hurt, so that's pretty much something that we can take into account that he was hurt. So he should be in line for a big season. The D coordinator, Wommack, just his ties to the South and what he's done at South Alabama to be named as a head coach at 33 years old in the FBS. That is impressive, man. Not an FCS or a D2 coach, but an FBS coach at 33 years old, after being one of the youngest D coordinators in college football at Indiana.
And went and smoked Oklahoma State and went to a bowl this year. They had a good team.
You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? And smoke Eastern Michigan in a bowl.
Yep.
Then you go and get Buffalo's head coach. And you bring him in as a position coach, 39-year-old, to bring him in as a position coach. And you're not even done. You still have 2 spots left. So maybe that'll be Carl Scott and another linebacker coach, or whichever way they choose to go with it. That's very interesting to see, and how we transition to the 4-2-5. So now I feel like that's going to help guys like Keon Keeley and Pierre and those guys out, because those are guys that you just put on the edge and just tell them to go get the quarterback. You don't have to worry about them dropping back in the coverage and having to do the I call it the Dallas Turner. He have them dropping back in coverage and everything. You peel their ears back and go get the quarterback. And that's what guys like Rousseau, Pierre, Colt, that's what they're best at. And our inside backers, man, like Campbell and Lawson and those guys, with the transfer of Murphy and Blackshire, that cleared out some room for these younger guys to be able to shine. The secondary, you're losing Kite, you're losing Amos, you lost Ricks. Even though I'm here, Ricks may come back. One of those guys may end up coming back. There's a good chance. But just losing them now, those freshmen, they have a clear path to the field. Guys like Mitzi, you don't have to wait 3 years for that guy to get on the field. Grimsley, Xavier Brown, Ibakwe, those guys can come in and add instant depth, safety, Woodyard. You know what I'm saying? Tony Mitchell, guys like that. So I'm just excited, man, for the spring ball to kick off, to see those guys and our receivers, our young receivers, to see who's going to be wide receiver 1 coming out of spring. So, and what I've heard was the possibility of some guys from Washington coming in and adding to this roster. So anything right now is a plus after how we've been poached the last few days and week or so. See us to be able to get some guys back and get under our 85, our number of 85 that we had to get to. It took care of itself, those numbers. But I'm just excited, man. I'm like just looking forward until September kickoff. I'm tuned in.
Me too.
Me.
Yeah. So, Patty, let me get your thoughts, and then we'll end it with Dan.
Well, man, it's hard to add too much to what all these guys have said. Like you said, he's brought in a great mix. I love, but what he's done as far as the coaching staff so far. He didn't just bring his guys. He did bring. He's starting to, bring in Kane Wommack, who I'm telling you, you don't know his name, but the guy's the real deal. He's one of the young studs in the business. Your defense is going to play fast. It's going to be something. It's going to be a product you like. The guy's the real deal. But it moreover, and we hadn't discussed him tonight, is bringing, one of the things people worry about it is coming to the South from the North. Well, I think that's history with the NIL and stuff. But again, he's made a right mix of having some Southern guys, but he brought, like I said this on the other show, his secret sauce and Courtney Morgan with him. And man, that guy is going to be the deal breaker when it comes to the recruiting relationships in the South and keeping guys and dealing with the NIL and all that stuff. But all that aside, man, y'all kind of really touched on all that. I want to touch on his demeanor because, when you're replacing a legend, man, the shadow that Nick Saban cast is bigger than any college, than any that's been cast since a guy named Bear Bryant roamed the sidelines in the same stadium. And, y'all alluded to it. Like Chris said, I'm proud of him. You want to have, you got to have some nuts to replace the man. Because you got to believe in yourself. You got to have some big bloaters to say, I can follow this dude and not get my ass ran off in a year and live up to these expectations. Because I'll promise you, there's no secret in the world to the expectations that are Alabama football. And those have only gone through the roof with what Nick Saban did. So coming into that, man, I wanted to see what this guy's demeanor was right out of the gate. Is he giddy? Is he goofy like Shane Beamer at South Carolina? Is he quirky? What is he? And man, out of the gate, he was just nothing but a professional. That's what he didn't seem rattled. He didn't seem shook. And it's my favorite answer to one of his questions in the Q&A was he said, winners win because that's what winners do. And man, that's the truth. And his record speaks for itself. This guy is a winner. He's won everywhere from NAIA. I mean, as an assistant, everywhere he's gone, the dude's just won. And then I love the stories when coaches like this come out of the woodworks from his NAIA players. Like, guys, y'all don't realize what Alabama's got. And you hear these murmurs, and I'm not talking about Alabama message boards. I'm talking about message boards of other teams. Like, man, y'all want Alabama to fall off. I think you're going to have your heart broke because they just hired the real freaking deal. I played for this guy. He's a winner. And so that's the thing, man. He seems like to be a great coach, you got to have that it factor when it comes to building relationships, to be able to steer Courtney Morgan out of Michigan as a Michigan guy, to be able to get linguists, head coaches all over the place to come join your staff as assistants and stuff. Man, I don't know. You know, hard to replace the legend, but this guy's off to a great start as far as building. Just, he's, like I said, he seems like a professional to me. And I always fall back on it. That grass-eating moron could win a national title out of the gate at LSU. Man, that wasn't near built up with what Saban's built here at Alabama. So I don't know. I'm excited. I'm not excited to see Saban go, but man, I am excited for this next chapter and what it brings, because I think this guy can get it done.
I agree, Dan.
Yes, man. I think it was a win-win situation for both sides. You know, Alabama, like Lucian said last week, we did a factory reset. So we allow guys that wasn't with the program. If you're not with it, go venture into other opportunities. We're not going to be mad at guys that left. You know what I'm saying? Because what you want to have, guys that are brought in, and you got to be able to embrace change if you want to stay at the University of Alabama. That's the message that need to go to all the players. You got to believe in this coach. You got to be able to embrace change, because the guys that's going to be left, I promise, are going to be guys that are bought in. So it's time for us to really, really, take that turn the page to the next chapter. So in 10 years, y'all, I'm telling y'all, with the guy we got and the staff we got and the guy we got running the show, man, I'm expecting a third statue to be hanging up in Tuscaloosa.
Ooh, I believe it. That's like the legend George T. Says roll tide, give him a shout out. And ladies and gentlemen, tune into his show on Wednesday night, T's Take, here on the Bama Center. They do an amazing job. And I was
legend. Does George Teague know? I mean, he doesn't know this, but man, after that play, I was in middle school in Jackson, Mississippi, and the next week we're on a track, or the week we come back to football practice and running, we're on a track, and our coach asked us like, "Hey, did y'all watch that Alabama national championship game?" We're like, "Well, yeah, we're breathing." It's like, "You see that play by Teague?" We ran the Teague play, like the Teague drill. All practice. We had to run a guy down from behind before we could go to the locker room.
I love it.
Legend, no doubt.
I want to add to that, Petty. You saw my new Alabama shirt that day, and you said that I was a bandwagon fan.
Did I really?
You did. That was back in 7th or 8th. Yeah, 7th grade. Matter of fact, I remember it to this day. You were knee deep in red and blue, and you saw no other colors than that. You were not about the Crimson Tide life. Yes, we were in class. I remember it very well, sir.
No, Justin.
That's before you got saved.
Just called me out.
That burned in his brain. He's been waiting for this moment for years.
I gave him the opening for that. I just opened the door that he's been ready to run through for 27 years.
Justin still had the receipt.
He's been waiting for that one, Penny.
He's been waiting for that about 20 years.
Hey, I was wrong. You were not a bandwagon fan, Justin.
Hey, man,
you
that's okay. That's before you
Alabama
got
fan on the planet.
That's before you got saved, dude. That's before you got saved. God doesn't remember sins, neither do I. So.
And look, then I came to Tuscaloosa.
But I want to add a little something for y'all. Close out this topic. Fans, I want y'all to truly embrace Coach DeBoer for what he is. I know as Alabama fans, it's hard for us to not compare every single coach to a previous legend. I mean, when Chris and I were there, along with Matt and others, no matter who came through there, it was always Bear Bryant, and no coach could ever live up to that. Now we have the other guy, the GOAT, perhaps even better than Bear Bryant. And for the oldies but goodies here in the chat, please don't execute me, but that's just the way it is. Fans, I encourage you, don't do that. If you're going to compare this man to Coach Saban, you're going to be sadly just you're going to bring too much in that doesn't need to be brought in. Let this man cook the way he cooks, and embrace change. Embrace the breath of life that's going to be breathed. Man, listen, I don't know about you guys. I'm excited about what we're going to do in terms of offense. How we're finally going to have guys that were just so underutilized that last year be breakout stars next year. We're looking at 2,000-yard receivers, maybe even a tight end being a 1,000-yard receiver. And then Justice Haynes and Jalen Milroe, how they're going to be used, it's going to be a thing of beauty. But as far as everybody thinking the sky is falling, that Jesus is going to come back tomorrow because everybody's exiting the program, I want to give you a quote from Jaden Roberts. He told me this last night. And if you haven't seen this posted on our social media, then please listen to what he says. He says, "No doubt we're going to handle business. Count on that. Everyone will have to see for themselves, but no doubt in my mind, decisions that have been made are the best for the program." So all you panicking because of these stars that you've created them to be have left the program, maybe in the long run, it was the best for the program, as Jaden said. Those who want to be there will be there. In the end, they're going to reap the rewards. And I'll hand it back to you guys.
Chris? Hey, let me ask y'all something. Who's the one player? Let me see if we thinking like, I know Dan always gets things like this, right? Who is the one player that's on the roster right now that is absolutely elated because of the offense? Like they're like, just think about it.
I'm gonna tell you mine personally, just from what the film that I saw, what they like to do, motions, playmakers. I'm gonna say Kendrick Law. I think
he's one of them.
With what he likes to do, he can put him at quarterback, running like he's so many things you can do. What are you going? Who else? I say
the entire quarterback room.
That's okay.
Yeah. But Jalen Hill, without a doubt.
Ty?
I was gonna but lest we forget Prentice.
Oh, nice. That's nice. Lou?
Caleb Odom.
I love that kid.
CJ Dupree. Think about it. When he came from Maryland, he thought he was gonna get a lot of balls from Tommy Reese's offense, and he didn't. Now he's gonna have the chance to do what the Westover kid did from Washington. I think he caught 40-some passes, but CJ came to help his NFL stock, and they really didn't do anything to help him this year. Like we really didn't feature CJ Dupree, and he's a heck of a talent. And I think he's gonna be a very big key card to this offense next year. Just watch. He and Caleb Odom, and maybe Danny Lewis, but Dupree is gonna be. I'm telling y'all, CJ Dupree.
I'll be honest. I think Julian Sayin probably watched some Washington film and just said, "I'm gonna have a chance at a Heisman Trophy in a year or two."
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And Juju Lewis, did he reclassify for a possibility of coming to Bama?
Did. Yeah, he did. So
he hasn't reclassified yet.
Let's say he is.
Yeah, he did today.
Oh, okay.
So speaking of top talent, and I want to kind of round this topic out because Chris kind of jumped to our next topic. But to all the fans who are like, "Oh, this guy has no experience recruiting in the South," let me let you know of a coach who did have experience recruiting in the South. Nicholas Lou Sabin. This guy came straight from Michigan State, got to LSU, doing the exact same thing DeBoer is doing. Getting some guys he knows, get some guys that are around him, and he's building a monster. Next thing you know, he's in the one national championship, and then next thing you know, he is the greatest of all time. Let's hit this $10 super chat, Mr. Davis Lewis Love. This is defense Michigan's run as well as similar to our Wommack's dad ran the Lance Shark defense 2014, 2016 at Ole Miss. Beat Bama twice. DeBoer and Grubb are Sabin and Kirby, but on offense. Ooh, I like it. So that transitions us to our next topic. Guys, what do you think it's going to look like? You know, the difference between, you know, we're going to kind of combine what it's going to look like and the staff. We kind of mentioned the staff, what's the difference you think we're going to kind of see from, DeBoer staff and what it's going to look like on the field? I'm going to start with Chris because you kind of got it started with the whole Dupree talking about offense. Then we go Chris, Ty, Patty, Dan, then Lou.
I think it's going to be we'll finally have an offensive identity. Like we've been lacking one since who was the last since Sark, wasn't it? Hasn't it been since Sark when we really had a true offensive identity? So I think you're going to see a lot more creativity. Guys like Kendrick Law. Oh my God, man! Like I think as far as NFL stock, he may have the biggest
jump.
Because you get really gonna be able to see his speed and his skill set. He's gonna show people that what we mean when we say that he's like a baby Deebo Samuel. And I think that you're gonna see a lot of that. But I just really think, man, you're gonna see more timing routes, like more precise passing, better protection, open lane. Justice Haynes, though, man, just like what Dylan Johnson did, and you put Justice Haynes in that role. Oh my God, Jam Miller, because Washington had one, and that hurt them in the championship game. When Dylan Johnson got hurt, they really didn't have another back to step up. They had to play with a 50% Dylan Johnson. If they would have had that second guy, that would have been able to. You may have seen a little different outcome, but I think like we have three, like with experience, like there's gonna be big. Justice, Jam, and Richard Young. And don't forget about how explosive he is.
Oh, yeah.
A 5-star back out of Florida for a reason. So, I just think you're going to see like an unstoppable, high-octane, high-powered offense that's going to be that's going to keep defensive coordinators up all night.
I agree. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Alabama offense is going to be such the trend that everybody in the SEC going to be trying to run those plays. Be the first one to tell you. Ty Hayes, let me get your thoughts.
Well, I think, Chris, you hit the nail on the head. Dylan Johnson, this is an underrated piece of this Washington offense. And obviously the first part of that conversation is going to be what DeBoer and Grubb have done with the quarterback play, as both of them are quarterback-minded and wide receiver-minded guys. I understand why that's where the conversation starts, deservedly so. But Dylan Johnson was massive for Washington's offense. And if you really watch, and some of you have known because we've been doing this show a while, and I told you before this season started, Washington was kind of my dark horse team last year. I was pretty ticked off that Michael Penix didn't make it to New York last Heisman season. And I went on like an hour and a half live stream venting my frustrations. And I said then, like, this Washington offense is so explosive. So I've been watching them for a while, and the run is such an underappreciated aspect of this Grubb and DeBoer offense. So I love that. But guys, there's a bigger thing we need to be talking about here. If Scott Huff is really the guy, and God, I pray he is, that Washington offensive line allowed 12 sacks this year. Bama had 49. That's unacceptable. And this is a problem. I like Wolford. But damn it, like there comes a point where this has been a problem since Doug Marrone. And it hasn't gotten better. And as much as I like the talent he's brought in, 49 sacks. Guys, that's good for, let's see, let me look real quick. That's good for 129th in the nation out of 133. You want to know the teams that rank below Bama? Northwestern, Colorado, and Old Dominion. Not great company to be in when you're Alabama. That's not the standard. Scott Huff just had the Joe Moore winning offensive line. Him coming in, huge, right? If we get him, that's huge for the offensive line play, and that has to change.
Well, we got him, and it's going to be offensive line is going to step their game up. What do we say, Patty?
Yeah, and I hate to stick on the offensive theme, but I mean that's what I've looked at, and I know Lou's going to talk D, but to dig a little further, you know,
Pause.
For the day. Boy, I laid that's what she said right on up for you guys, huh? Wow, threw me way off. All right, for the guys, and y'all mentioned it earlier, yearning for the days of Sarkisian and Kiffin's offense at Alabama, where you just lit up the scoreboard, even though, you know, that I know defense is loved here in the land of Crimson. But man, it was awfully fun when that offense was popping too. And the way those guys did it, and I think this is what you're going to see, is what makes Sark and Kiffin's offense so great is mismatches and getting the ball to your playmakers over and over. Amari Cooper, he would have killed Amari Cooper if he could have with 100 touches a game. Same thing with Henry. Everybody run the damn ball, Lane. Well, then he gets Henry, he runs the damn ball. You know, that's what Lane and Sark and those type of guys do. And that's why the running back Johnson was so good at Washington this year. They get the hands of the ball to the playmakers, but they do it with eye candy, the stuff you love to see that you hear Saban talking about. Man, when you play those teams, you get the eye candy, which get your eyes going one way and then they're doing something else. And to Ty's point about the offensive line, if you watch their offensive line, go back to the Texas game. They neutralized the Texas defensive line that just lit Alabama up. And they just look more athletic. They're better of picking up the blitz and getting the second row of defense. It's just a lot different look on their offensive line. And that's an exciting thing to come because it's not a lack of talent at Alabama. Let's be real. We just heard it on the show prior to this. You heard one of the greatest linebackers of all freaking time, just not just Alabama, and Courtney Upshaw saying, sometimes you got a coach on campus that ain't just not coaching you up. And, you know, that's something to look forward to. But that's what I'm looking to see a difference is we're finally going to see an offense that, God, after Sark, it just got dull, man. We went back to that just – there wasn't any excitement. Like I said, you've got to create mismatches in this. And when you got playmakers, you got to get them – you got to feed them the ball. And it didn't seem – had gotten away from it. And I think that's what we're going to see out of this offense, one that just lights – like you said, we're going to light it. It's going to light up the scoreboard. Be ready.
You're on mute, Justin.
Came in here on mute. That's unfortunate.
On mute, took the shirt off, has the girl taped up in the back. What is going on?
Let her go, man.
Gosh,
let her go.
Hey, you quit asking questions.
Blink twice, sweetheart. We'll call.
Eat the cake, anime. Anyway. Not to drift away from two fine points that Ty and Daniel just mentioned. I want Bama fans to really go back and listen to what they said. Yes, from an offensive standpoint, it's absolutely beautiful. What we're going to see is nothing short of amazing. But from an offensive line standpoint, be giddy, be excited, because we have drifted so far away from the Bama standard in terms of offensive line play. It's just embarrassing. And any OG who played that position, it was just disgusted. Now, I don't know if there's a word strong enough to really describe what we saw these past 3 years. It's just an atrocity. That's all about the change. And Alabama's offense is going to be elevated because we're actually going to have a competent offensive line coach who are going to elevate these players across the line to be bullies again. And we're not going to see these sacks. We're not. And then let me touch on this here. If Milroe's a starter next year, I'll be extremely surprised. A high-level passing attack isn't his specialty. Well, how do you know that? How do you know that a competent offensive coaching staff can't develop him? Ryan Grubb is about as good as you get out there. It's who we won last year. No disrespect to Tommy Reese, but come on, guys. It's called what it is. He was a guy that was on training wheels, breaking his teeth on a huge program. It was probably a little bit more than what he was willing to handle. And I don't think he really knew how to develop a quarterback like Jalen Milroe. And previously, Bill O'Brien was lazy in his play calling. Let's call it what it is. He just said, we're playing Bryce ball. He'll save us. And there was no creativity or ingenuity whatsoever. So we got a staff who's competent, and he's going to surprise y'all with what he can possibly do with Jalen Milroe. If he can do for Milroe what he did for Penix, good Lord, gentlemen, we're going to see some things that are going to blow our minds away.
Right. And we also don't have to hear that excuse, well, we're running Nick Saban's playbook.
Basically.
I got a super chat.
Super chat. Thank you, Mr. Davis Lewis Love, $5. Sark and Kiffin's offense feature one receiver and play off him. DeBoer's offense features three receivers and play off them, as well as feature the run game.
Hey, I agree with that on the three receivers. What I've seen out of that, he does feature more of that. And Kiffin does. You're absolutely right on that. However, I will say Kiffin's offense does also. I mean, that's a run first offense. Now it didn't start that way, but I think after he got a few of those, what did Saban call them, ass chewings? I think that kind of he realized to get with the program and do what works.
Kiffin put us behind the chains a lot on first down.
And do it at first.
That was perfect.
Appendix was better than glass viewers. I'm sorry, I'm reading you. I can't help but read every one of Hugh Freeze Burner Phone's posts. Congratulations, you have got my attention, Hugh Freeze Burner Phone. You're the man.
Oh, that one
that gotta be vain, man.
Funny.
The lip Phoenix is better than the glass viewers.
All right.
Oh man, sorry. Lushawn, since you about to talk about that D, pause. Give us your thoughts.
Still pausing.
Pause a little longer.
I'm not gonna lie, when I first got news of this hire, I was kind of like, what? And then I did my research, and I actually was pleasantly surprised in what this guy's been able to do, where he comes from, the pedigree, his coaching tree. I'm a big fan of history, and he's got good history. He comes from a good stock. He plays a new style defense, which I think is actually playing to the strengths of the type of players we have at Alabama now. Because I feel like the last couple of years, our defense has been real stiff. Pause. Not like when I say stiff, I mean like not like like stiff straight up. Like they're not loose. They're not being able to like play to like fluent, like water, like liquid. They're just not being able to do that. And I feel like in this guy's defense, from what I've seen on all the film I've watched in the last couple of days, it seems like every single person on his defense is without a doubt sure about what they're doing at any given time. And they are explosive and they create turnovers. And the most important thing I've seen, he keeps offensive lines and quarterbacks off balance at all times with his blitzing packages, with what he does with his secondary, with how he mixes up his schemes. It's going to be exciting because, let's face it, Alabama still has the top talent. I don't care who left because, like Malachi Moore said, if you ain't wearing crimson, then But the talent we have with the young guys, and like I said last week, we need a factory reset. And with this new idea of defense, I think you're going to not only see a different level of hunger and thirst to thrive in a new system, but they want to be the first ones to do it. So, and I feel like we have the type of pride in the locker room right now that, especially on the defensive side of the ball, because, everybody can, say what they want about the offense. And, that's awesome and everything. But everybody knows what this Crimson A is built on: a good defense, on a solid defense. And I also think the way he sets his defensive linemen up is not always leaving them getting hung out to dry all the time. Like I've seen some of our guys get hung out. So I'm excited. The secondary one, that's a little bit different to me. I got to do a little bit more research on him. I haven't seen a lot on him, so I'm curious to see what he's going to bring to the table. And I'm interested to see what happens with the last two coaching hires. They're going to be huge. We got a lot of talented guys and they need developed, and we need the right guys in here. Like Jaden said, these are going to be the decisions they feel is what's best for the program. So Alabama Nation, we all need to take a step back, be calm, and the tide will roll.
Speaking of the tide rolling, Dan, I think I should have had you go before Lushawn or Daniel, but my bad. You have to forgive me. Dan, give us your thoughts, and give us, since you're the last one, you give us your thoughts about the staff, then give us the grades about the staff, and you'll lead us off on that topic, just about grades around, and we'll go around the horn.
Okay. Yeah. So without a doubt, I'd say, Coach DeBoer, like Justin said, Ryan Grubb, that's the guy we were all saying, man, we need to get. But apparently he turned the job down under Coach Sabin. But guess what? He was willing to come work for Coach Kalen DeBoer. He's built relationships as well as Nick Saban. He's a charismatic guy. He's building a staff. He's not just hitting on every hire. He's knocking it out the park. He's Reggie Jackson in the World Series with these hires. This guy is getting out. He's energized. Coach Saban was burning out. Remember the conversation he had with Kirby Smart. You're right. I am getting too old with this. Listen, y'all, we got a young, energetic guy who's getting ready to build his own legacy. I mean, man, I so far I grade each and every hire an A+.
Chris, what's your grades on the staff? You're on mute.
Muted.
Remember, I told you A++ on the offense. On the defense, remember it's an A+ too because he retained Freddie, who's going to be huge in recruiting and familiarity with the D line. Because I think outside of Isaiah Hastings and Barnes and Goodwin, guys that weren't playing, he kept his main guys. Linebacker, coach, you hired a head coach from an FBS school. Secondary, you hired an FBS head coach. So that means that those guys are going to be paying attention to detail, since that they're in that role, since they've been managers of teams. And that's what Coach Saban said that's good, having head coaches as assistants and position coaches. So all this is going to do is boost their stock, right, in return by coming to Bama, which will the next position they give the head coach job will be at a P5, at a P5 school. So so that means that they're going to be hungry and really coaching these guys up. So I give the defensive side A+ also. So far with the staff.
Let me give it my overall. Let me give it A. Lushawn, you go next. I'm interested to hear yours, brother.
Offense. There's got to be something better than an A. I'm just gonna harp on one thing that everybody's just been saying: the offensive line coach.
Yeah,
guys, the last 2 seasons, his team, that offensive line gave up 19 sacks.
Wow!
In 2 seasons.
Wow.
Man,
we go back team against Texas.
If you go back to the numbers in like those last 3, it still doesn't even compare to what they did this season, and with arguably way lesser talent. So, guys, we get an offensive line. Just think about what. Yeah, that's just it right there. So the offense gets to me. The offense gets an elite mark. They get above an A+. That's elite. Every single offensive hire has been elite. It is an absolute and total upgrade. And the retention of Gillespie, I'm telling you, that's huge. And on the defensive side, I'm gonna give it a solid A. And it's gonna stay an A because I need to see everything as a whole. I don't like my steak done too rare. I like it done medium, so I'm gonna need to give it a little bit more time. And I gotta see what he does with the secondary. We got a lot of talent, a lot of guys I'm really high on, and I want to see what he does with them. So spring ball, A-Day, it's exciting times, and everybody should be looking forward to it. It's going
A-Day about to be bananas this year. Ty Haynes.
Yeah, man. I'm about to play in that A-Day flag football game with my bad knees.
I'll be at Galette's with Daniel. Why you doing that?
Cheering you on, making bets. betting on the white. I'll be betting on white.
I'll be on that other part. I'll be on that other stool.
Betting on the blown hamstring.
Man,
give
that
me
flag
a white +7.
That flag football team game is going to be sponsored by the Icy Hot.
Big game.
Before I give my grade, Scott Jackson asks, are we looking at shades of 2020 Alabama? Could be, Scott. That was a legendary run, though, right? I think it's going to be a little bit different. But in terms of just like recent Alabama teams, I think that's more of the philosophy you're looking towards, which gets me into my grade. If I'm going offense, it's been said. I don't need to say it again. A+. I don't have to even think about it. A+. Defensively, I think I'm at an A. And the only reason it's not an A+ is just because I just don't know enough, right? I think it's that simple, right? I just don't know enough about Kane. But the reason why I go A is because that people that I trust in the industry, people who study football, people who talk about football for their livelihoods, they are over the moon with the hire. And the little bit I do know about him, like what I was researching about him, is very impressive. So I think it's an A+ on offense, A on defense. I have some questions about the defense, but they're all no questions based out of negativity, questions based out of curiosity.
Got it. Let's hit this super chat. Reaver Week, thank you for the $10. Roll Tide, lots to be excited for. Let this team be the best they can. One thing I will say about 100%. That, Mr. Reed, appreciate it. One thing I love about the defensive coordinator, his fire and his juice. It's a video that I tweeted about him chewing out a ref, and he got a flag for, I guess it was a PI penalty. He walked up to the ref and got an additional flag. Like, that type of juice, energy, I think we've kind of been missing, especially on the defensive side, on the sideline. So I think he's going to bring a lot of new energy, a lot of juice, and these guys going to be playing really confident. Patty, give us your grade, sir.
Yeah, definitely a lot of Kirby fire. Well, I mean, it's hard to give higher than all these A's across the board, isn't it? But look, man, let's be real. I'm just as giddy as the rest of you guys. But at the end of the day, this is a scoreboard business. And I think they're all great hires, but we haven't stepped on the field yet. So I'm going to give a satisfactory because I'm very satisfied with all the hires. But, man, I want to see it. I want to see the product before I give, hey, y'all are the best to do it. But I do think I'm pretty positive it's going to work out because I do, man. I love Wommack. I think he's one of what you just said. I think he's one of the fiery young coaches. He's not maybe in between Kirby and and Bam. Yeah, in between Muschamp. He's got a little bit Kirby fire in him, man. I think Bama fans are going to fall in love with Wommack. I think they're going to fall in love with a lot of coaches this guy's bringing in, man. This is the linguist. We hadn't discussed him much. He's been all over. I think he coached in Dallas. He's a recruiting dynamo, man. There's just it's hard not to give A+, especially on offense. Like you said, I can't say more than you guys can say. I think I said it in our segment prior. This offense is going to light up some scoreboard guys. And with Bama's talent, watch out. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun, and I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide.
I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide.
Speaking about giving a piss about nothing but the Tide, let's talk about the guys who ain't wearing crimson, who once were wearing crimson and not anymore. Let's talk about this portal and NIL. We had a lot of, transition, Isaiah Bond, Lambeau, Texas, whatever. He ended up going to Texas. Blackshaw going to Texas. Majority of the transfers went to Florida State. It's like Mike Norvell's like, hey, if you played at Bama, come to Florida State. So one good thing, at least Florida State got some playoff experience now on their team.
Hey, man, what do you think about all these clowns voting Florida State like third and fourth in the final poll?
I love it. I love this. Listen, all this stuff that's going on before we the Kirby DeBoer things, I don't think people are really, that's going to come to light September 28th. I think Sark, all these things, they're going to try to, life comes at you fast. And I think DeBoer is taking all this stuff and he's going to become a monster because just how he got welcomed into the SEC. So like you said, Florida State being voted, I love it. I think that's more fuel for Bama to really be like, oh, nobody really believes in us. We'll go out there and dominate, Chris.
Hey, somebody needs to come up and have a drawing with you remember the Grim Reaper going and knocking on all the doors? He had a door landing on it that's slashed up. He has a door with Sark on it slashed up. Has a door Lincoln Riley was slashed up, and he's walking up to Kirby's door. Yeah, that's what it's gonna be in September.
Oh yeah, for sure. So guys, let's talk about being pissed about the portal NIL, and let me start with Dan. Dan, you get to go first on this. Give us your thoughts about the NIL, the portal. Reasons you should be upset about it.
Well, let me tell you, I wouldn't say upset, you know what I'm saying? Because these are young guys, you know what I'm saying? You know, if like Malachi said, you know, if you ain't with the Tide anyway, bye. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you. You know what I'm saying? So anybody that's in the portal, they left for a reason, you know, obviously they wasn't on board with what we're trying to build here in Tuscaloosa now. You know, we're moving forward. You know, hey, look in the back rear. I'm not gonna discuss guys that was in the portal because I don't care. They don't play for the Tide anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's about the guys that's in the locker room, you know, the ones that's staying. That's the only thing I care about. I'm gonna drop the mic on that.
Drop the mic. Chris?
Man, like, I mean, Bun went and got a bag. I mean, you can't be mad. The thing with folks like that, man, you just gotta make them eat their words. That's how you get back at him. I mean, you can't. Can you blame a kid, 20 years old, with an offered a Lambo and what, $750,000? That's what they're saying. So I mean, you can't be mad at him for chasing the bag, but at the same time, you're gonna want him. The way to make him regret it is go out and win a natty. Go out and win a natty and have a couple of receivers that just like Law and Hale that just absolutely flat out shows out. What's up, Dan?
Yeah, why should we worry about what he think and what he feel? You know what I'm saying? We worry about the guys in the locker room. Like I said, the guy that moved on, I don't even want to mention his name anymore. Let's move on.
Well, he can't be 007 no more.
I heard the reason he didn't return DeBoer's phone call because he thought it was a girl named Kalen. Loose Shine, let me get your thoughts.
I'm not mad about the portal. I'm not mad about NIL. I'm not mad about any of it because it gives real men an opportunity to purge those who are not real men. Like Dan alluded to, and Chris, if you ain't with us, the door is there. We'll pack your stuff and even help you move out and get on with you.
Don't let
we wish you good luck in the wars to come, but like Dan said, I don't know who that dude is, and I don't care why he took it. I mean, good for him. If that's what he really wants, and go sweat in Texas and be around all those Longhorns and
are you about to
tumbleweeds?
Yeah, I thought he was. I felt like that he had to stop himself from going full metal jacket on us.
You know, it is what it is. You can't really fault these kids for making mistakes. I mean, y'all remember what it was like being that age. I mean, just think if somebody waved a whole bunch of money in your face. I'm not saying that will falter my commitment, but you know, I could see it. You know, sometimes flashy lights, tumbleweeds, big stakes, and I guess Lambos do it for you. I mean, personally, national championships do it for me, so I don't know what the hell he
and Aggie cheerleaders.
Hey, I mean, I'm just saying
those are dudes. Those are dudes, sir.
They ain't really too good looking in Texas, especially on their cheerleading team. I mean, whatever. You want to improve your draft stock, go ahead. But when Kendrick Law and Kobe Prentice go in front of you, my guy, just remember, he ain't gonna go in front of them.
Well, a year later, he's gonna go higher than what I guarantee you. Hale's gonna get drafted higher than Isaiah Bond will whenever
for sure. For sure, but I'm talking about his classmates throwing it in his face. They get drafted day one, and Isaiah Bond don't get called till day 3, probably because he wrecked that Lambo, driving it on all them tumbleweeds and dust bunnies and whatever out there. But I ain't mad about it. It is what it is. It was inevitable because it gives people that don't want to work hard an opportunity to go not work hard another place and make money doing it. So good for America, I guess.
Good for America. Before I hand it to Ty and Daniel, I want to say this. Another benefit about DeBoer, he's a young coach that knows how to embrace NIL. And I've heard he's already made a lot of connections. I know Alabama went up crazy. So it's going to work in our favor. And another great thing about Bond going there, I think that equals the Ryan Williams coming to T-Town. I'm going to drop the mic on that. Ty Haynes, give us your thoughts, sir.
Yeah, so I'll be very brief. In my opinion, the story isn't so much about players leaving, and that's not the fault. If you want to point the blame at somebody, it's the NCAA for their just sheer incompetence. That's the real issue here, is that the NCAA has no power because they fear they're going to end up back in court, and they know that if they end up back in court, they're toast because it's going to go up the legal ladder. And if the Supreme Court has an ability to hear anything that has to do with any antitrust lawsuits against the NCAA, they know that that's the end. So they sit on the fence and they refuse to do any action that they think will offend one party or the other, so that way they don't end up being sued. That's the fact of the matter.
It's great having a lawyer on the panel.
Man,
I know.
I love
love
it, Ty. Look, piggyback off that, man. Look, get mad at these kids all you want. Look, they don't have the heart they used to. It's not, look, the game's changed. It's not the day where you fall in love with the kid as a freshman and follow him through 2 or 3 years. If he ain't playing in year 1, year 2, he's going to go. But to piggyback off what Ty said, the rules are stupid. They opened this NIL thing with no plan and no rules, but the rules they do have are horseshit. So they've got this rule where Alabama loses their coach, the NIL portal period, let me get the portal. It's just a conglomeration of shit. The portal period. So the portal period's closed unless you lose your coach, and then it opens for 30 days and the whole country gets to pick one damn team apart. What kind of crap is that?
That's
so
ridiculous.
What if the NFL, if the head coach leaves, all your players just get to leave without free agency? See, the rules are ridiculous. And welcome to the new world of college football that makes no daggum sense. The rules they do have are stupid, and the rules they should have don't exist. Like, hey, salary caps, capping, so just more mad at the situation that college football's allowed itself in with the powers that be to let this happen. Because look, man, you give people opportunity to skirt the rules, they're going to do it. You throw Lambos. Hey, man, you throw a Lambo at me when I was $20,000 and $750,000. I do love the Tide and all, but come on, a Lambo. That's
you'd have been in Vegas so fast.
Yeah, I've been to Vegas and blown that money and sold that car and right back to begging coach to take me back. But no, it's a stupid system, and I'm not. I'm more mad at the system than I'm mad about the players or whatnot.
Chris,
Dan made a good point. He said that if that's going to happen, these schools should have to pay other schools for getting their guys out the portal. You get what I'm saying? Like, for every player these schools should have to pay something, because if they have open season on the whole roster, man, it should be some type of repercussion or something that should be able to help the team that's getting poached. Because what Florida State's done to our roster, granted they're not starters, but still just the fact that's depth. And what they've done, like, I just can't wait till there's open season on them.
Can I let me say something, because Adam, I want to clear something up, because he says the Supreme Court has no standards regarding NIL. They might not have any standards regarding NIL, but the thing is if you look at NCAA versus Alston, this is where Justice Kavanaugh came with the bombshell about the NCAA and their lack of compensation raised serious questions under antitrust laws. That's the thing. It's antitrust laws that you have to look at. The NCAA figured out how to do NIL 9 days after that case. 9 days after Justice Kavanaugh stated that you cannot run something that's basically unconstitutional under antitrust law, or illegal. I'm sorry, not unconstitutional, illegal under antitrust structures for the sake of just doing it, for the basic theory of just doing it. He said that was ridiculous. That was a telling sign. That's when the NCAA all of a sudden opened up and was like, oh, well, we'll do NIL. That way we can have something to fall back on, so that if you say you're not compensating the athlete, we have something to raise there. The Supreme Court issued a 9-0 blow to the NCAA and NCAA versus Alston. And Justice Kavanaugh painted a clear picture of them being interested in the antitrust or lack thereof structure of the NCAA.
Boom.
And that's
if you get an attorney, go to Ty Haynes. But before we get off this topic, guys, I know the big topic the past couple of days has been Caleb Downs. And Dan, I want to give you the floor, kind of address this. What you've heard, you give your thoughts regarding Caleb Downs. And then I got some interesting news I want to say after this, Dan.
Yeah, I've heard different things. I heard his relationship with T-Rob, going to play a part in it. But let me tell you this: the longer it goes, the better for Bama. So this is a situation where he's really wrestling with the decision. You know, it's a change. He's a young man. You know what I'm saying? So he's a leader of the team. He is you know, year one, but he's a leader of the team. You know, and it's just a situation that's really personable to him because you know he got a lot of guys that's coming at him. You know, which would be tampering, but you know he's not officially in the portal. But I don't know for a fact or not because you know compliance has up to 48 hours to report it. But I expect in the long run, you know, he's going to make the best decision for himself, which I think would be him staying at the University of Alabama.
Oh, and I'm gonna add, if you don't think tampering's going on in this world, I've got some. There's some unicorns on my oceanfront property in North Dakota.
Speaking of tampering, guys, shocking news. Jim Harbaugh interviewed for the Atlanta Falcons job as well. So probably have a little bit more coaching movement moving forward as well. So
man, tell you something about Harbaugh. Harbaugh is so guilty because he's asking for immunity
in his contract.
In the contract for anything that may happen to Michigan. That means you're guilty. Come on, dude.
Then his brother did an interview before the last week talking about how he's sending scouts to the Kansas City Chiefs Miami Dolphins game, and he said, "Oh yeah, we're allowed to do that in the NFL. It's legal in the NFL. It might not be in college." I'm like, you're basically just saying your brother's super guilty, which is
right.
So I don't think that was smart on his part, but anyway,
they don't think.
So guys, we've come to the last part of the show where we give our final thoughts. And we like to promote our social media. So, but before that, guys, let's promote the Bama Standard. The Bama Standard, always sponsored by Workspace Solutions. We got tomorrow, we got the Crimson Dynasty with C Show. And we have T's Take tomorrow, Wednesday. Please turn into that. No, Sean's going to have a show coming up here in the near future. We're excited.
Boo.
So, listen, the Bama Standard is the place to go, and it's a great show. But always tune into the Final Whistle. Tell your friends about us. You know, we give you a lot of comedy, a lot of roast, but we just try to give you good X and O's and good fun as well. So, you know, hit me up on Twitter, mcadell11. You know, I'm follow me. I'm always on Twitter, all that good stuff. And my OnlyFans this week, I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know. I'm going to let Ty go first, and then I'll come back with the OnlyFans thing. But hit me up. My promo code might be, I don't know. I'm trying to say something that's not R-rated, so I'll just leave it at that. So.
Going soft on his cat?
Yeah, I am. I'm going soft. 24.
Well, then I'm just if that's
Pause.
Oh, balls. Big balls. Big balls. Big balls.
Yeah. If that's what we're doing is if we want to avoid anything R-rated, I'm just going to keep it very stable tonight.
DeBoer, I don't know. I'm just
it was going to be a lot worse than that. So you can just find me at Around the Table Sports here on YouTube. You can find me over at Bleacher Report every now and again whenever they call me. Guys, actually interesting story. That's how I found out Sabin retired. I was in the backyard. We had a big windstorm the night before. I was cleaning up sticks and stuff, and I get a text message from someone over at Bleacher Report, and they're like, "Hey, can you hop on and do a live stream for us talking about the news?" And I was like, "What news?" And that's when they kind of hit me with it. "Oh, buddy, you don't even know yet." And that's how I found out that Nick Saban had retired. So 5 minutes later, I was in front of a camera and I looked like I had a 1,000-yard stare. But we're going to keep it basic for the OnlyFans tonight. For all the good people out there, you can find me at Reach Around the Table Sports, providing all sorts of content. I have you covered.
I did find out that in the spare time, Coach Saban might have an OnlyFans promo code called Goat Stroke. Patty, let's go.
Go home, Matt. Go home.
Hey man, I'm Petty. I'm glad to be back with these guys again. You can catch me here every Tuesday at the Final Whistle, but also I'm at weekzerosports.com. We got a show dropping. We recorded this weekend, so our show should drop sometime this week if we ever get around to not working and producing it. But no, it'll drop sometime during the week. But check us out at weekzerosports.com. And man, just good to be with you guys again after such a crazy week, man. I like I said, my final thoughts are, last few years when football season's ended, get a little older, I kind of take an exhale. I'm like, all right, man, I'm ready for a break. I'm good for a break a little bit, watch a little basketball, baseball to get me through. But man, now with all the insanity and the even with Coach Saban being gone, I'm more looking forward to next football season than I have since I was like 13 years old. So, man, excited for football. So that's it. Check me out at Week Zero Sports. Look for me here on the Final Whistle on Tuesday nights.
Hey, I want to add something real quick. I want everybody, you can't do it really in person here, live chat, but give a round of applause wherever you are at home for this crew who has been incredible these past several days, literally working around the clock to provide the best coverage in terms of the Nick Saban retirement news, bringing on the new staff, and just keeping everybody up to date. I mean, we work 4 days straight with shows almost every day, and we had 25,000 strong on one of those live shows, and that just speaks a lot about what you think of us. So I want to thank everybody who is a part of this channel, this cast, the crew, and then you fans. We wouldn't be here without you. So I want to thank y'all very much for being with us this entire process. And I promise you that we're always going to bring the best content when it comes to Alabama football, period. And while I'm already here, I want to announce this now, since people are listening and still holding their attention. The Bama Standard Network is going to be forming a partnership with Jaden Roberts. His NIL is going to be a part of our network, and we're going to be bringing some things to the table that you guys need to see. So fans, get excited about what we're going to be doing with Jaden Roberts. You'll be seeing him on our channel very soon.
Heard that. Lushawn. Oh, Lushawn, who's your Avenger? Which Avenger are you?
Oh.
Bang. Oh, Bang's not an Avenger, though.
No, I want to go last on the Avengers. Let everybody else go.
Okay.
Everybody else go.
Dan, who you going to be?
Thanos. I mean, not Ty, but Lushawn Thanos.
Lushawn Thanos?
I got somebody.
You're on mute, Dan.
No, Lushawn is more of a Hawkeye. He tend to do, beat his own tune. Me, I'm the vision. I'm the vision of excellence. Because I see, and I like the vision that Coach Kalen DeBoer is gonna provide for us. Now, I'm telling you, Bama fans, let's get excited. Let's rally, circle the wagon. Let's get behind this coaching staff, this new hire. Because anything else at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? You can have the Lambo, you can have all of that, but let me go out a Crimson Tide. I wouldn't want to be anything else but an Alabama Crimson Tide. When you bury me, you better bury me in a crimson casket.
Ooh.
I wouldn't want to be anything else.
Ooh.
Do you hear me?
Wow.
Hit that like and subscribe button.
Thank you. Strange. Chris, who are you? Which Avenger are you?
I'm Bucky, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm the Winter Soldier.
You the Winter Soldier.
Wasn't he a bad boy when he first came out on that?
Yeah.
That joker was?
With the arm.
I'm Bucky, dog. I'm on the Winter Soldier, brother. Matt, you the Black Panther. I'll go ahead and give it to you, T'Challa.
Actually, I want to recast somebody here on this crew. I think Daniel Petty should be Deadpool, just for his sarcasm and wit, because it's pure gold on here. And what better?
He what
better compliment than Deadpool?
He's Star-Lord.
I can see that too.
Yeah, that's him. He's Star-Lord. He could be Star-Lord. Yeah.
I'm claiming Wolverine, if anybody's wanting to know.
Justin Riley Wolverine.
They in group.
I like green. I like green chicks. I like green chicks too.
The long arms, the long leg. That group.
Chris Captain Underpants. We can do this all night, man.
I do like green chicks.
Hey man, but you can find me every Tuesday night right here with the best cast in America. Matter of fact, the best cast in the world, man. Like, we're gonna give you laughs, we're gonna make you think, we're gonna give you info. Man, we just have an awesome team. And shout out to my guys, man. Like y'all don't understand how late. You may be 4 a.m. Here comes a text message with something here. 5 a.m, 6 a.m. It's like we're 24 hours around the clock in our group, man. It's never ending ideas. And I find out most of my info from the guys right here. When I find my stuff, I find it out from them if I haven't heard it from myself. So I enjoy these guys, man. I want to just tell them thank you personally. But you can find me on Facebook at Chris K. James Sr., on Twitter at Coach Chris James, on Instagram at CKJ Senior 32, and every Tuesday night right here, man, you're gonna catch us, man, and hit that like and subscribe button, and tell your friends that missed this show they can go back and watch the replay. Go back and watch it, man, and help us get these numbers up. Help us get these numbers up and help us grow, man. We want to continue to grow and become the biggest info on all things Alabama out there in the market.
Luke Sean.
Roll Tide.
All right, so it's kind of like always been one guy for me when it came to the Avengers, and that's Tony Stark. Because I'm telling you something, you give me all that money and power, I'd be just like him too, probably worse. Y'all, I mean, the parties that we would have, y'all, I'm telling you, legendary. But speaking of parties, kind of the new scene. I'm back in the game. You know, I've been doing a lot of research. Had a nice little long weekend birthday trip after that devastating news. So for this week, in my newly found abroad adventures, you can find me on OnlyFans at Separation at the Point. Promo code Finish Hard.
I thought you were going to say OnlyFans. I was like, okay, LaShawn.
Nah, I ain't taking yours. And you can find me at Lucius on Twitter, Rolu21, and Lucian Graves on Facebook and Instagram. And also, we're going to bump the Bama Standard website. We haven't been giving that enough love. We got articles on there, show times. I just came out with a recent article about the new coaching staff, a little bit deeper dive, a little bit more detailed on what we touched on tonight. So y'all go check that out. Show some love.
And as always, we're going to end with those two words.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
I don't give a piss about nothing but Tide.
Blitz.